It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight, I think I've got a good show going on for you guys. I am going to talk about my first operation session. Really my first of any sort of real op session. It was, we'll get to it. After that, we'll talk a little bit about a package I got in the mail, and if everything goes as planned, I might even open that package. I have completely revamped my OBS setup. It is, from my side, almost nothing is the same from what it was. So there is very likely going to be some problems tonight. So if things, go south, just sort of hang in there with me. We'll get back on track, and we'll see what happens. This is live. If tonight works out, it's gonna be a night. I'll tell you that right now. We've got Andy from Este Pandy Projects in the house. Al Mars here as well. Anthony Dodge, the Model Train Outsider. RD0 from America Model Railroading. Andy Ambrose staying up nice and late for a change. We've got Barry Olson's here. We've got Carolina Foothills Railroad. David from DB Tech. D-Rail Daryl's in the house. Derek Alexander. Edward from Happy Valley Hobbies. Jim Tedesco's here. Rail Serve John. Ken Amos Jr. B&O 51. Dwight from the Curly Express. Lynn McCurdy. And the High Desert Modular Model Railroad Club. Mini Prince is here, who is on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We've got Norm Miller in the house, Norman Rowe, Don from Quest Western, Roger Coleman's here, Ron Moen, Roy Eltham, John from the Schuylkill River Valley, Thomas Grassi, Trackside Mike, and Steven from Wig Wag Workshop. I did see a couple other people sneak in here. It looks like Rick from the Foltz Bailey Model Railroad came in, and I thought there was one other, and I'm not finding it right now, but thank you all for being here. I feel like I'm spitting all over myself today. I don't know what's going on. I'm obviously just excited about what's happening, and I'm afraid to hit any buttons because I don't know what's going to happen if I hit any buttons. But so far, we're okay. Here's a little tease, just because I always like to do a little tease. Here's the box. Around 8:30. The plan is around 8:30 to get to the box opening. And then I don't mean we're going to open the box at 8:30. I just mean we're going to go from the operations conversation to the box opening conversation. We'll see. Maybe the box opening will take me 30 seconds. We'll be out of here at 8:35. Lynn McCurdy says, okay, no one push Heath's buttons tonight. I would appreciate that. I would really appreciate that. David from DB Tech says, does it use batteries or electricity? I don't think in its current state that it uses any of those. I don't think. Roy's saying push the button, and I was actually hoping, I don't know if nobody's hit the thumbs up since I've come up here or not, but I was hoping that if somebody hit the thumbs up, something was going to happen on screen, but maybe, oh, there we go. There we go. Did you see it? Did everyone see it? Does somebody else might need to hit the thumbs up to see it? There you go. There you go. So that's my new way of doing the thumbs up. It won't pop up in the chat anymore. The bot now puts the number up. It looks like I got to adjust it though, right? I mean, it's kind of something. It's a little off the numbers. So I need to get in here and let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Not corner logo. I got my logo up in that corner. You can see, if I put my hand up, you can see it. That's new as well. So that's kind of fun. Where is it? Oh, there it is. All right. Oh, I don't know why it changed. I don't know why that changed over there, but let's see. If I move this, oh no, all over the place. I am doing a poor job. I want to get the number in the right spot. I don't know why. I mean, it probably really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but you know how I am with things. I gotta play with things, right? I mean, if it wasn't my stream, I wouldn't be playing with stuff, and it just wouldn't be the same. So now the numbers lined up. I don't know if that made anybody else as happy as it made me, but don't fix it. Talk about ops. Don wants the ops conversation. Who here has done operations? Who here is an operations person? I guess you can say. I'm just sort of curious, how many people are kind of into that kind of thing, or if you're not into that kind of thing, or who knows. Mr. Andy Estep is saying he is. Andy actually has some videos up of him operating on a Civil War layout, which is really cool. It just wouldn't be Heath of not trying something new. I know. I had to do it. I could do a poll about ops. What should the poll be? Have you ever done an ops session? Have you ever done an ops session? Who else looks at their fingers when they type? Because I do. I still don't know. The keys have been in the same place for, I can't begin to tell you how long. Still have to look at my fingers. Norman Rowe says, I've never been involved in ops. Sounds like fun. I think I've done enough ops videos to answer that question. You have, Tim. You have. I'm not going to get into that. Car cards and waybills are switchless. That might be trouble. Artie says, I did ops. That's why my train crew are on strike, because you were involved. DB Tech says, only when typing numbers. Rick Bailey says no ops for me. Rick, do you want to do ops? Is that in the future for you, or are you more of a rail fanning type? William Kennedy says ops is the best, and I kind of agree. If you don't know, Anthony says obviously not. Anthony's got what, 10 tracks and runs 10 trains at a time? I think just the fact that your trains don't run into each other, I think that would almost count as ops. Steven says no ops for me yet, but would like to. So that is, to kind of get into the ops thing, I thought for a long time that I had to have a continuous loop railroad. That was the thing. That was the only thing that I needed in a railroad, was I had to be able to run trains in a loop. And then I made that time saver over there, and things changed. I kind of got the ops bug, and I sort of started to understand what it was that people liked at ops. So I reached out to a local model layout owner and asked if I could join his ops session, and he very graciously opened his home and his layout to me. And long story short, I had a great experience, but I was definitely nervous. I was nervous days before, leading up to it, but I got through it. And I took some notes just to kind of keep me on track a little bit, kind of talk through my experience. And hopefully people will find it interesting. This layout, it was a big layout. It was a big layout. The layout owner had a 12-page write-out of the layout and tips for operating the layout. I read through the pages twice. The main lines go in and out from like visible and hidden tracks, so I would take my finger and try and like follow my way around the track so that I could get a sense of like where the train was going to go and then where it was going to come back out. I did prepare, brought a few items with me. The layout communication between the dispatcher and the road crews is via FRS radios. I don't have an FRS radio, but I do have a scanner. So I programmed in the FRS frequencies, so I was able to use my scanner to listen. I also brought two of my throttles. He recently updated the layout to NCE, and he also has a Y throttle server set up. So I brought my NCE Cab 06, which is a wired throttle that I have, and I brought the TCS UWT 50. It turned out a lot of people actually were using the TCS throttles. So I arrived on time, maybe even a little on the early side, but enough time that no one was waiting for me, and I knew where I was going and all that good stuff. Met a couple of the other early arrivals, and the layout was just, it wasn't just the size of the layout. All the track was hand-laid track. There were trees everywhere. It was really a neat layout, and one of the early arrivals took myself and another gentleman who were also both first-timers there, and he took us around a tour of the layout. In that 12-page document, there was a line that said, don't trip over the step. There's one step, and whatever you do, don't trip over it. So, of course, as I was getting a tour around the layout, the first thing that I did was trip over that step. After the tour, we went back to the hangout room to get our assignments. I put on the scanner. I had an earpiece so I could listen. I grabbed my throttle, but I just sort of stuck it in my pocket. I was paired up with one of the experienced guys, a guy named Ken. Ken and I were on one of the road crews. I think he has about 6 different road crews. So you figure there are 6 trains running around the layout at a time, as well as 3 yard areas. So there's about 10 to 12 operators total. The first train that Ken and I wove around the layout was just sort of a through train. Learned how to read the signals, which is a CTC with interlocking system, which essentially means that you follow the signals. If there's a red signal, you stop. A yellow, you proceed with caution. A green, you go ahead. So Ken and I, me just sort of trailing around saying like, oh, what are we doing? What's happening? Followed the signals, made our way around. There were trains going in opposite directions. So at one point we were held at a red signal until the next train went by. Being with Ken and just sort of like following him around the layout, it got me a little bit more comfortable with the idea of actually operating the trains. At this point, Ken said, oh, you can't talk? Here's my FRS radio. So now I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to talk to the dispatcher. And that made me a little nervous again. I didn't want to say the wrong thing on the radio, but the crew and everybody there were just really great. A lot of the staging is hidden. You actually need to look at monitors to see a bunch of the staging tracks. So we dropped off the first train in a hidden staging yard. He has everything's on occupancy sensors, which is part of the CTC control system. So you know when your train goes into staging because the occupancy sensor comes on, and then you watch the monitor, you pull it in as far as you can. It was really interesting how many visible tracks and how many hidden tracks there were. There were several areas on the layout where the train would just disappear. So you'd be on the main line, you'd have, let's say, a 14-car HO scale train with 2 locomotives, and the train would disappear in a tunnel, and you were told to stand there. You're told, don't move. If the train goes into the tunnel, it's going to come out somewhere around where you're at. So the train goes into the tunnel, and especially if you're on a yellow signal, because if you're on a yellow signal when the train goes into the tunnel, you could be standing there for a while, like 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes sometimes, and you didn't know when your train was going to come out. And in the very beginning, I didn't know where it was going to come out. I started to learn the layout a little bit more to know where things were going to come out, but it's wild to see a 14-car HO scale train disappear for about 2 minutes. I don't know if it was actually 2 minutes or if it just felt like 2 minutes, but there were a couple moments where Ken and I would turn to each other and say, do you think it's coming back? We didn't know. Our second train was a lot more complicated. For this next run, we sort of adopted that engineer-conductor role. So Ken was running the train, and I was kind of conducting a little bit, whatever I thought that meant. Our first drop-off was at a propane facility. We had to, pull up on the main line, get permission to, control the switch to get into the yard. We picked up 2 tank cars, dropped off 2 tank cars, and then headed off to one of the smaller yards. The yard master at the smaller yard, we dropped everything off. He took over. He moved all the cars around, did all the switching. We had a caboose on this train, so we were doing a turn, so we took the locomotives and moved them to the back, which then became the front, and the caboose to the other side. And after all that, we got back on the train, started heading out there, and at that time, for whatever reason, I said, I'm going to run the train. So I pulled out my UWT-50 and I was, I started running the train. Ken, of course, kept an eye on me to make sure I didn't do anything stupid. None of the people there knew who I was, so they didn't know my proclivity for causing problems, which is probably a good thing. But I headed out. I went over to the Office Max and we dropped off 2 boxcars and picked up 2 boxcars, and then made our way back to the final destination and dropped off the trains. I kind of had the bug at that point, and Ken and I separated. Ken took his own train and I went and I got my own train, and I was kind of excited. I learned that I had a trash train. TR1 was a trash train. I started out of staging with 10 flats with trash bins on them. When you take the Amtrak train out of New York City, heading up to Amherst to the Springfield train show, you go over the Hellgate Bridge, and if you look off to the side, you can see all the flat cars with all of the trash. So it was kind of fun to see and run something that I'd seen out in the real world. So the first thing I did is I stopped in the main yard, which was right outside of staging. I picked up 4 more cars, so now I had 2 locomotives and 14 cars. Checked in with the dispatcher, got permission to leave the yard. I'm pulling out of the yard, and that's when I had my first crash. All of his turnouts are hand-laid turnouts. Some of them are incredibly long, and some of them are very interesting. It was almost like this was a double slip switch, but it kind of had a track along the side of it as well. So if the track was set correctly, theoretically, the 2 trains would have gone by each other. So I'm still a little tentative. This is my first time running the train, so I'm not leaving the yard real fast. The guys in the yard are moving a train that should have run parallel to my train. It's a dispatch layout, so I'm not responsible for throwing the turnouts. I probably should have checked them. So I'm kind of petering along. I see their train kind of picking up and catching up to me, and our trains are side by side, and then all of a sudden I realize my train is not staying to the right side. It's veering left right into their train. So a little 050 action, reached out real quick, grabbed that locomotive. They have the locomotive set with a ton of momentum. So, you take that throttle, you slam it down to 0 real quick, and that locomotive still keeps going and going. So I'm holding the locomotive, I'm like worried about crashing, and I'm forgetting that I gotta hit the brake to actually stop the thing. So I'm like holding back 2 locomotives with 14 cars. It all worked out well. The guys in the yard were actually really great. We were busting on each other at the beginning. They were saying, "Hey, you're the new guy. You can't bust on you can't bust on us, you're just the new guy." But they were really great. They showed me around. They let me climb into the yard. The 2 of the people that operate the largest yard are actually on the inside of the tracks, while 1 is on the outside. So I got the opportunity to go back there a little bit. So it was all good. I was not the first crash of the evening. The first crash of the evening was the layout owner modified some of the length of some of the track runs, and he tested the clearance with a track gauge, but he didn't test the clearance for a double stack. So they ran the double stack through, and the double stack hit the top. So all of a sudden we're all standing there, and he starts cutting out or so. We don't know what was happening, but there was some noise going on way back in the corner under one of the hidden tracks. So I wasn't the first crash. Everyone was really great about it. It was, I just backed up. They reset the switches, got everything on the track, and moved on. And that was basically my last train for the day. I brought it into staging and dropped it off. I was able to stay late. The op session ran pretty long. Normally it goes from about 11 to 4, about 5 hours long. We didn't wrap up till maybe 5:30. Part of this was that the layout hadn't been run for about 2.5 months. I don't know exactly why they weren't running it, but I think he was just doing some work on it or whatever. So it was a little bit of a shakedown session. It was great for me because things ran a little slower. Things weren't as hectic. The main yard wasn't as hectic as it usually is. So it was good. I mean, the layout owner felt bad. The layout owner wanted things to go a little bit better, but I mean, for me, it was perfect. I did find out, I thought we were running like the same trains that you kind of run every time. My understanding is that a lot of people that open their layouts up, they have sort of a consistent set of trains that you run, and people sort of start to, learn the different trains and learn what you need to do. This person made up different trains every session. So, I mean, some of the trains were the same, but for the majority, he switched the trains around all the time. And the layout owner is a gentleman named Phil Monat. If you have purchased the OpSig compendium, he was the editor of that book, and he wrote the chapter on yards. So he knows just a little bit about operations. And if you can't tell, yes, I'm hooked. It was so much fun. I did, email Phil, the layout owner, and said, thank you, and he's willing to put me on his list. So I hope to get up there again. I didn't take any pictures. I didn't take any video. I just wanted to focus on being there, getting to know the people, and running trains. So it was a lot of fun. What it inspired me to do, though, is get this thing behind me up and running for operations. And one of the biggest things that's sort of stopping me from doing that is I don't really know what industries that I want to use on the layout. So that brings us pretty much to the second part of today's adventure. And of course it didn't, oh, there he goes. I guess I have to put my headphones in to see if this is going to work. This is all new to me now. This is all new, so hopefully, let's see if I can hear him.
I hope so.
Oh, and of course
everyone else can hear me.
Oh, I can hear you.
No?
Let's see if
Okay,
anybody
that's
else
good.
can hear you.
Halfway there.
How you doing, Rick?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to be back up on your screen.
Yeah, I think the last time you were on my channel, I think you were here. I think you were in here with me, I think.
Oh, that might be. You might be right.
Yeah. It does seem like, it looks like there might be a little bit of a delay with the audio and video. I'll have to go back and watch this later and see. People are saying you're a little quiet, so I'm going to turn you up a little bit. I can't believe anybody's saying you're quiet. Usually the problem is you're too loud.
It's insane.
Yeah. So
always. It's always the problem.
Always. But yeah, so as you heard, I jumped in. Oh, and I realized I'm on the wrong thing.
Guest you said you were having.
this wasn't the guest you said you were going to visit. Who was the guest that I said I was going to visit? Yeah, so I'm using something called Video Ninja. This is my first time sort of trying it out. Are you running through OBS, Rick, or are you running straight in?
Mine's through OBS into your Video Ninja.
Yeah, there could be. I know there's a way to set a delay and all that kind of stuff, and I could probably mess with that a little bit. Although I think anyway, if you guys could bear with
Video's
us.
choppy on my end too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It's saying it's only 89 kilobytes per second, but I'm up at. Well, see, this is what happens. This is this is live. I don't know why. I don't know why it would be doing that. Everything's kind of the same. So here's what I'll do. I'll drop Rick down for a second. I'll bring Rick back. I don't know that I'll fix the delay, but let's see if I can fix one of the things that might help Rick out a little bit. So give me 1 second to bring Rick back. All right, so hopefully you're back.
Oh yeah, way better.
Okay.
Way better.
I know what I did. Of course, I fussed with something, and that's what happens. I forgot though.
Way
I gotta.
better than the other day, also.
Oh,
Yesterday,
good. Oh,
in
that's
the
good.
test.
That's good. I did just turn on my video stats thing again, so you should see up there. If somebody hits the like button, the little guy should pop up. We're all watching. We're all waiting for it. We're all like, is it going to happen? Will it happen? Will somebody hit the like button, please? Anybody? Do I have to beg? Do you have to beg for likes up here? Is that what happens in this thing?
There it is. Nice.
Norman's saying, Rick, just talk with your hand over your mouth. There you go. Dwight's saying we look.
I see.
Dwight's saying we look the same.
47. See, when I tried to do that, I couldn't get the I guess I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but if someone takes their like away and puts it back up,
it doesn't work. Again? No, it won't go up again.
So we need to talk off camera then.
Yeah, no,
because I can't get mine to do that.
I can set you up. I can hook you up. Perfect. So the reason Rick's here is because Rick was nice enough to help me figure out one of the industries on my layout. As you guys know, I think it was on one of my streams, right? I brought you up and you were wearing a certain costume and you became known as the tree, and wood jokes grew from a sapling.
That was Jason's. That was Christmas 2020.
Oh, was it Jason?
Jason's stream.
Oh, that seems like forever ago now. We do have a holiday stream coming up though, right? It's on, I think, Ray's channel in 2 weeks.
Yes, Ray's channel on the 18th. Don't be late, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
I really got to figure this delay thing out. I feel like you're like, it's definitely a Japanese movie. I'm sure it's very likely my problem, but
you're fine. Your video over there, you're fine.
Yeah, you're
and
like
my video. What I'm looking at is fine.
Oh, what I'm looking at isn't, but I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
It's gonna bug you. It's gonna bug you.
So
don't look at me.
Don't look at you. So the reason Rick is here is Rick has been building a lot of structures, and I found this structure online, and I said, "Hey, Rick, you want to build this for me?" And Rick said, "No, not even a little bit."
No, I did not. It was like, but it got done.
It did
It
get
took a
done.
while.
It did get done. So somebody was asking earlier, does this require batteries?
Not yet. Well, no, it does not require batteries, but it's your choice of whether you want to give it some sort of power in the future.
It is very likely, if you haven't noticed the lighting behind me on my layout, it's very likely there will be lighting added to this. As Dennis points out, yes, it's an unboxing. So yes, we could be here all night. Maybe.
Possibly.
You never know. One thing we didn't get to do with one of the things we didn't get to do with what's in this box is we were going to film like a little intro video when we were down at Timonium.
We were going to do that at Timonium, yeah.
And we kind of, I don't know, we kind of forgot. I also kind of didn't want to let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Joey just said, Joey from Late Night Model Road said, I'm going to start a live stream where I open as many boxes as possible in an hour. And why that's even funnier, why that's even funnier than you can imagine is because on Discord, if you join us on the Discord channel, one of the categories that we chat under is called Railroad Collection. And we're constantly talking about the help group that we all need to join to stop us from buying more model railroad type items. And Joey from Late Night Model Railroad has adopted the nickname Loco Joe because Mr. Joey likes his locomotive. So as he says, he might just have a lot of boxes to open, and I don't doubt that. The other day we were talking about shelving because we've all run out of shelving. I mean, you can see. Let's see if I can figure this out. It didn't even. Oh, there you go. You can see all the shelving above me is full, right? So.
Yep.
I'm not the only one with that problem. So that is a good thing. Don from Quest Western is also over there, and well, I don't think he quite has the disease we do as often as we purchase stuff. Don always comes back from train shows with a bushel full of things that he found at the show. So yeah, there you go. Cascade Southern model trains. When your shelves are full, get a bigger building for more shelving. I don't disagree. Joey liked my bushel comment. But Rick, I mean, we're talking about my layout and my industries. You just tore down your layout. How's it coming? Have you settled on a track plan? Have you what's the plan?
No, we haven't settled yet. We've got some ideas of our own. John's come up with several different versions of track plans. I've also shared with him the track plans that a few people have sent me, and there were a few that were floating around on your Discord. And I've shared them with John, and we've taken some of those ideas and we've incorporated it in. But right now, yeah, we kind of came to a halt. We got everything taken. It's all taken down, but it's all still because we built it in sections. We took the sections down, but we haven't really taken apart the sections, if that makes sense. So they're still hanging around. I still got to dismantle them and take out the wiring and the tortoise switches and all that kind of stuff. There is the helix is still there, and so is that one back long section in the back that has to come down. But everything else is kind of taking up room right now. So We did a lot of cleanup though. We went through a lot of boxes that were just stored under the layout. I had some really old plastic fill stuff that I was just it was just sitting there. We got rid of, I think, at least like 5 trash bags full of stuff that we just weren't going to use and really had no value.
Hold on.
But no, the track
Wait.
plans are coming along.
Are you saying that model railroaders aren't collectors? That what we have in piles under our layout aren't like collectibles? Are you trying to say that we're more like hoarders instead?
I don't want to put a label to that, but yeah, I'll let you decide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm not going to ask my my girlfriend what she thinks either. Yeah. Derek Alexander says, Rick, it's good not to leave the room empty or suddenly the space will disappear and be used for something else.
Oh, I know. We took everything down and we kind of have it piled up in 2 separate corners. And there's a lot more room in there now. And I'm afraid to have my wife come down and look at it because I'm pretty proud of how we cleaned it up. But I know as soon as she sees the space, there's going to be something done. But I have an idea for the space as of now that I would like to get completed. If you guys remember, Jerry and I are building an N-scale coffee table layout.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the problem is that Jerry doesn't have a lot of space at his shop for us to do a lot of work. But now I've got all this space available here. So I think I'm going to start to talk to Jerry and see if I can get Jerry over and maybe we can use this space and start working on it since all of my tools and equipment are here. And maybe we can get some track laid down on that thing. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's a good thing. I didn't realize you still
have a layout soon.
I didn't realize you didn't have track on the N-scale layout yet.
No, we just got done. We got done the inclines in foam, and the last thing that we were working on was putting plaster cloth and everything on it, so we could start at least getting like a base on it. The next thing that goes down is definitely going to be track because we need to start testing that and making sure our curves are right because I don't want to run into another P5A problem in N-scale.
Yeah, exactly. Thomas Grassi says, hey, Rick, how do you know that no one wanted any of that stuff? Don't you know one man's junk is another man's treasure?
That's true. But if I didn't have the time to put it up there, I certainly didn't have the time to give it away. And let me tell you, this stuff was not in good shape. I certainly would not have gotten rid of anything that like wasn't built or wasn't in good condition. This stuff was like sitting around rotting for years and in an old stinky basement and then in a stinky attic for years and then brought back down to a different basement. And it's been under my layout for at least the last 10 years. So the tester's glue is all cracked. It's all faded. Trust me, nobody wanted it.
Derek makes a good point, though. We are historians, and preserving is it's a very important part of what we do. So, you know,
that's true. And if I offended anyone, I wholly apologize. But
Lynn and I think somebody else said it too. It's quite an effort to give stuff away sometimes and to like figure out how to do it. So sometimes you just end up keeping it. So
yeah.
DB Tech has a good idea. Just take it to the train show and put a free sign on it.
Yeah, you know, I probably should have stuffed it in a corner over there at the train show.
At Timonium, they actually did have a white elephant table where I think anybody could just sort of bring stuff and put it down, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll keep that in mind.
I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but yeah. David says he has a history of hoarding. I think one of the things David hoards might be coffee cups. If you watch David's videos, that might be...
He's never without one, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've seen.
Derek says just add another aisle. Yeah. So if I'm about to stick a knife into this box, do I have to be worried that this thing is gonna explode or anything?
No,
Anything like that?
it will not
No.
explode. I promise you. It's well wrapped, so you're not going to puncture anything.
Okay.
Of course, I wouldn't go too deep, but go for
Randall
it.
says his other bedroom is just trains.
Oh,
Dennis thinks he has a lot of coffee cups. Dennis, start watching. Go back and watch all of David's Tuesday videos. He takes a sip from I think, pretty much a different coffee cup almost all the time. Derek says, "Don't be ridiculous. It's only been 45 minutes. Apparently, I can't start unboxing." See, David's got a new coffee mug, so I gotta watch.
there you go.
Watch for that.
David,
Edward wants to know glitter bomb.
Holtz Bailey mug yet?
I have a Foltz Bailey mug. Oh, it's upstairs. It's upstairs. By the way, speaking of giving things away, John Tanzillo was very nice. This is a frog juicer that he wasn't using anymore, and he was kind enough to give this to me, as well as to this is a hex for 6 frogs, and these are both 2 singles. So I've got a couple more places that need frog juicers around the layout, so I am going to definitely be adding these. Anthony, I agree. Oh, and this is where I've got the little mess up that I gotta fix it at some point. But Anthony, I agree. I have if people don't know, my mugs are all for hot chocolate as well. This is like some of my favorite hot chocolate here. But yeah. Oh, Bernard C makes a good point.
I actually had I was thinking of you, and I actually bought you I should have brought it down here. I bought you a Hanukkah gift, and it did not make it into the box before it shipped.
Oh,
and
no.
I apologize for that.
You're gonna have to give it to the shipping manager.
I think so.
I love that your daughter loves to ship things out.
I could have at least showed it to you.
Yeah. All right, so let's at least cut into this.
Well,
I noticed
we were talking about industries on your layout.
Oh yes, yes.
What ideas do you have so far? Anything?
I want to do a car float transfer bridge thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I've got figured out.
Okay. How about maybe anything that has to do with like trees or logging or wood?
I've thought of that. I did think about something wood or tree related, but I didn't want just like a typical, lumber yard or whatever. Like everybody's kind of got a lumber yard. So,
yeah.
I didn't think that's, I didn't want to go that way. I know I don't want any meat processing stuff on my layout. So I think things like lumber or, that something of that nature. Roy Eltham is saying it needs to be a sawmill. Jeff wants to know, people are asking what happened with the lights in the background. I've just got them on low. There's nothing happening back there. All the action is right here. Do you like how I did that? Was that good?
It's gleaming.
Everyone's like, I want to see what's behind you, but I'm right here. CP368 says, modeling New York City area, you would mostly have warehouses, but warehouses filled with what? I did actually.
Yes.
I found on eBay, I think it was $10. Maybe it's a little more than that. A 1911 New York area list of industries that are rail served. So
Oh, wow.
yes, it's 1911. So it's not really the era I'm running, but I thought it would give me some ideas.
Yeah, some of those buildings and structures may still be there. So
Some of the
if for
structure,
anything, it would be an architectural, dive into history.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And even you head down to the High Line, and it's like all those meatpacking places have now been converted into various different things. So,
Yeah.
Split Rock says he can get me a more modern industry list. That'd be cool too. Derek says, what about a local lumber yard? Split Rock says, scrapyard, gondolas, bakery, air slides with flour and sugar. So 99% of what I own are box cars. So, yeah. I don't know who Dave Ramos is. Thomas, if you'd post his link up somewhere, I would much appreciate. I'm gonna at least cut this open.
Okay.
Because I know people, I feel like I've got to hit the hour pretty much, right on. I don't want to run too over. Joey says you can ship anything in a boxcar. Lynn says boxes. Grain was shipped in boxcars into the late 60s. My layout's a little more modern than the 60s, but I guess it's my layout, right? I can do whatever I want. You use the tape with the little strings on it, so it's like hard to cut.
Well, you know what happened? I couldn't find the regular tape, so I had to use that. But then I found that tape was actually coming off before I shipped it. So then I had to cover that tape with the regular tape that I got at work. So it's very secure.
So that's why there's all this extra tape all over this thing.
Yes. But it's only on the top. If you wanted to go through the bottom, you could do that too.
Oh, I know who Dave Ramos is. Okay. I forgot who. I forgot. Boxcars are like vanilla in ice cream to me. They are good, but just ordinary. I like vanilla ice cream. Dennis from Otter Creek says, my dad loaded wheat in boxcars less than a quarter of a mile from where I live right now. That's pretty cool. See, Joey says late night's my favorite. I got asked about the Band-Aids, so we can pull out the Band-Aids just in case, because we do have the knife out. So I'm a little afraid. So if people haven't figured it out yet, there's a structure in here, right? Shipping structures, I feel like, is very difficult because I'm always afraid something's going to break off of it. So I'm very curious to see whether you've got like popcorn peanuts in here, whether you just wrapped it. I'm kind of curious if I'm going to need to get the glue out and glue a bunch of stuff together.
You know that I have, a whole big roll of bubble wrap.
Oh. Did the packing manager help you with this or no?
No, not with this one. But I did just get a whole bunch of boxes in for that were included for the STS giveaway, and they contain some interesting packaging too.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Dennis is saying, is it pre-built? How nice is that? So we'll talk a little bit more about that after I get the after I get it open.
I guess it's pre-built to you.
Well, yes, it wasn't pre-built to you. So if you don't know, go to Rick's channel. Rick's been building a bunch of DPM kits. I saw the kits that he was building and I got kind of excited. And Yeah, so it's assembled on my side. It was not assembled on Rick's side. And I actually, we got peanuts.
I know you were looking for some extras, so I sent some along.
I got, the Tamiya paints that I got recently came in a box with peanuts. And it was the most annoying thing ever. Grandpa Rail says, open it already. Thank you, Grandpa Rails. Much appreciated. The bot also says thank you so much as well. Dennis says, take them out one at a time. If John from Schuylkill River Valley was here, I would ask him to count them one at a time.
So just an FYI, when your super screen went off, I did not hear the music.
Yes, that is very true. You would not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay.
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on things.
No,
I'm more worried about the whole, talking and moving lips thing, but, at this point. John from TSG Multimedia says, I need to tune in more often. I have no idea what's happening. John, I sent a message to Rick and I said, so I've got a plan. My plan is I'll bring you up around 8:30. And I said, okay, by plan, I mean I'm completely winging it. So.
Yeah.
Joey says, most of us don't know either. Dave's saying, cut the tape. The tape is cut.
Tape is cut. Well, not all the tape.
Not all the tape.
Most of it.
Oh, is there more tape?
Yeah, the bubble wrap is wrapped up with tape.
Yeah, I hate the packing peanuts too because of the static. Like you start taking them out and they like static to everything. These are doing pretty good with the static. But
so once you get through the packing peanuts, you're gonna see the box. That the
you sent me the box
I'm
too.
not sure if you wanted to show that or not, but just fair warning. I did send you the box with the that paper that usually comes with it that we don't read.
Instructions.
Oh yes, those.
I couldn't remember what they were called either. I think it might. I mean, I haven't seen this side of it, but it might be interesting to show people. They're saying show what's inside of it. Sorry, I'm like doing the wrong thing. It might be interesting to show people the box and then show what you did to it in that order.
Sure.
So it might be worth doing it in that order, but I don't know. Okay, so now I don't know what to do. I ran out of bins for peanuts. I don't have any more bins for peanuts.
Well, why don't you take the item out of the box? Sure. And then there's only 2 other things in there, and you can leave the rest of the peanuts.
2 other things. Cover it up so people don't see it.
To your right, there is a small sandwich bag.
I see it.
That has items, and then there's just the box.
Grab the bubble wrap. Russell Rockin says, I think I've aged 10 years watching Heath open a box. Sidetracks,
Russ,
77.
you have no idea.
Yeah, I know, right? David Atkins says, just imagine how much more model railroading Heath could do if he could just open the box. I know, right? I don't have near enough gondolas for peanuts, but I do have a bunch of N-scale boxcars. I could put like 1 peanut in each boxcar. That might be interesting.
You might be able to put three peanuts in a gondola. They could look like coil loads.
Oh, that's true. Bernard says I use my shop vac, easier to dump in the garbage sack. Are you supposed to empty your shop vac? I'm confused.
Certainly before you use it as a wet vac, I can tell you that.
What I'm afraid of, I'm afraid I have to. I've got to go through my shop vac and find all of the things that I've lost in this room, because I have a feeling I've got at least $50, if not more, worth of model railroading supplies in that vacuum. And that's partly why I haven't dumped it yet, because, yeah. All right. So we've got some pallets, it looks like, or some stacks of woodage. Did these come with the kit?
They did.
Ooh. All right. So some people,
they were actually individual sections that had to be glued one on top of the other.
Ooh.
So there was some painting and assembling with those.
Nice. So this is the kit I found, and this is what I asked Rick to put together. I said, hey, I don't want a lumber yard, as we've already discussed, but I said, Andy says, that's called lumber, isn't it?
Just so you know, I loved the kit so much that I went and I bought one for myself.
Oh wait, hold on. So have you built that one yet, though?
I have not. This one's in pieces still. So here's all those pallets.
Oh, nice. Oh, there you go. So yeah, lumberyard. Here's that thing. What are these called again? Instructions.
Booklet?
Instructions.
Yeah, the booklet thing.
Yeah. I think it's great you sent the box. That's awesome. So the next thing is to unwrap this. So I didn't want, I feel like I've said this like 12 times now, right? I didn't just want a lumber yard. I wanted something a little different. So Rick and I brainstormed. We came up with an idea. And hopefully that idea is still in one piece.
I still have my list.
Sparky wants me to kick you out of the stream.
Why?
I don't know. Dennis says he recalls building when I built that N scale pallet. Good times. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough. Jim says Heath is sidetracking Heath. Brainstorm. Yes, when Rick and I get together, I think storm is probably the right word. Yeah, so we got to be gentle. No, it's not a gruesome casket. It obviously is wood. Derek says, so you both have wood. I missed that first time. Steve 87 shows up an hour late and he didn't miss the unboxing. See, this is why I don't want to do this too quickly. Is because I want to make sure
you got to give everybody a chance.
I got to make sure that everybody that wants to see this is here to see it. Dennis says Heath certainly doesn't need help with sidetracking. That is very true. Andy wants to know how long it'll take to pop all the bubbles. I will, maybe I'll do a secondary stream where I just pop all the bubbles.
On Discord.
On Discord. Yeah, everyone jump on Discord later. I'll pop bubbles for an hour. Sparky wants to know when he should set his alarm to come back to see the unboxing. Derek says he can come back in 3 hours and still not miss it. How is it that I have more? How do I have more people here than likes at this point in the show? Apparently people don't like my little animated pop-up.
I love it.
I don't even know if it's popping up in this scene or not.
It did a few moments ago when
it
you
did.
got to
Okay.
58. It did. There you go.
Oh, there you go. It's popping up. Norman says I'm the most annoying person. End scale bubbles. Yeah, I hope not. Sparky will be back in 3 hours. We'll see you later. John says we can
Sparky,
read the
bring
chat.
coffee.
I can read the chat too. I'm going to read, just for you, John, I am now going to read every single comment for the rest of the night. Grandpa Rails fired the bot. Somebody got tired of waiting to see you unbox and left after they liked it. Andy says people leave because they're tired of waiting. That's okay. If anybody out here thinks for a moment...
Those who stayed are important.
If anybody out here thinks that I delay these unboxings for your amusement over my amusement, you obviously haven't been here for very long on my channel. Oh. Well, here we are. We can see the first piece poking its head out.
Top's off.
Look at that weathering. That looks nice.
Thanks.
That looks good. Yeah, we talked about kind of making it look rustic-esque.
Oh, that's a bag. Pull it out of the bag.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I found for whatever reason I had that, and I thought, oh, this would be great. I could just put it right in the bag.
So this comes out of the bag. Gotcha.
That comes out. Yep.
Gotcha. Well, I think I'm gonna try it. Does this comes off the top maybe, or maybe I should untape this?
Yeah, you might. Yeah, you might want to take the tape off of that one. Or
there we go.
There you go.
There we go. Looks nice. Look at that weathering on that roof. Look at the rust. Nice stuff. Oh, I love
the only thing that I go ahead.
I was gonna say all the little wood chips on the.
Yes.
This is hard to get out of this bag. There we go.
That means it came in one piece.
Okay, so it's not a lumber yard.
Not a lumber yard.
Not a lumber yard.
But I do have a story for the building.
You do.
As you remember, when I did all my DPM kits, all of those buildings had a story. So
yes.
Your building there has a story as well, but you might want to.
Should I do the reveal first
before we give the story, so it makes sense?
Okay. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So Rick made this for me, modeled it after the lumber yard. It is lumber related or wood related. Split Rock still wants it to be Gruesome Casket. It's still not Gruesome Casket. What it is Bailey's Quality Toothpicks. They make toothpicks here. We thought that would be fun. I love the idea that we are cutting down Bailey's and making toothpicks out of them. So you can see all the sawdust. We got some pallets here. Train, I guess the train comes up the back of it, maybe? I guess it could come up either side.
I don't know. I don't think it was there was no platform or anything or bay doors for it. So I'm not 100% sure.
We'll figure it out. It's all good. Maybe it'll come off of we'll find a way to do to make it fit. New Rick, very anticlimactic, Heath. I'm sorry. Every box of toothpicks has 246 inside. Who knows that reference?
I know the reference.
Okay, just checking.
I know the reference.
What do you throw out of the second floor doors? So the idea of this, let's see if I can bring the camera up and let's see if it'll show over there. It's not really showing far enough over there, but I'm thinking this is going to go up over here and be one of the three industries over in this area here. So I think they're going to be I realize you guys can't see this at all, but I don't know how to get a picture of it. Yeah, so it fits back here perfectly, Rick.
Awesome.
So this is going to be one of the industries in the 3 industry area. So what's the story, Rick?
So here's this. So when Heath and I looked at the building and after it was purchased, and we came up with some ideas, he had some requests. One of those requests was whitewash sides, which we got. The building itself had to be dark wood, like aged wood, kind of, which I kind of accomplished with the grayish green color. He wanted a rusty tin roof and knotted panels, which I really couldn't get because I did try it, but I didn't either have a paintbrush small enough or maybe I just wasn't doing it right and it started looking like polka dots. So I took that off and just repainted over it. But the thing that I liked the most was you'll notice that the tower on top is newer wood than what the bottom is. So as the story goes, this actually used to be a lumber yard. It was the Hurwitz Lumber Company. And it just so happens that they also owned the Hurwitz Unpacking and Shipping Company. And they actually did the logistics and transportation for the lumber company. But unfortunately, when the shipping business went under, so did the lumber company because they couldn't get the goods out anymore. So the building shut down and it fell into disrepair and the tower actually collapsed. So then a couple years after that, the Bailey family came in and they bought the property and they rebuilt the tower. And now it is the Bailey Quality Toothpick Company. So
you're saying I'm a big failure?
I am not saying that as well. I am not saying that at all. I'm not saying at all. you have accomplished so much more than I am not going to say that at all.
So for my next stream, I'm going to scratch build toothpicks for the toothpick industry.
In N scale?
In N scale, of course, in N scale.
I would love to see like little pallets of toothpick boxes. That would be awesome.
How many toothpick boxes? Somebody else was asking up here. How many toothpick? Mike, the real artist, says, how many toothpicks could a 40-foot boxcar hold for shipping?
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I didn't know the answer.
I like Split Rock's comment.
This is a better story than most movies. That people can read the story.
I could type it up and send it to you. Sure. Sure.
John from TSG Multimedia says he knows the answer. The answer is a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. A toothpick.
So I did take an HO toothpick would be 0.03 inches. Wow.
Yeah. Ship toothpicks loose on flat cards with no boxes.
There you go. So as you see, I did take some of those wood pallet. I don't know if you want to call them pallet things. Those bundles. And there are some in the building, glued into the building, but I gave you some extra to either put on a car if you wanted, or laying somewhere outside the factory.
Yep.
But yeah, I couldn't. I honestly, to tell you the truth, what took me the longest was I wanted to put a really interesting sign on there, and I feel like I failed to do that. But that's what honestly took me the longest. The building was great to build. I loved every minute of it, all the little details down to the weathering. It was a great build, and I can't wait to do mine.
What I think's interesting
is I
is
could have done a better sign.
I mean, this is model power. Like, I mean, look, you know, like you think, oh, like you can't make a plastic kit, you know, look good. And I mean, this, this looks great.
I forget exactly. Actually, I guess I could look it up on my box. The two things that I found interesting was
Dennis has a good idea.
I need a 1-to-1 toothpick.
So like off the sign, like mount a toothpick like on an angle or something.
Yeah, that would have been something. I did not find, I can't remember if it was in the instructions or not. I don't know if I found an actual year for the model. But I did notice that it does say on the box that this was made in West Germany. So it's an import.
Well, and it's at least before 98, I think it is, right?
Okay.
So it's at least that old. So
yeah.
Norman Rose says that particular mold has been around for decades. Pola had it for a while, and that's we did find that there were several manufacturers that actually had this kit as well. So Cascade thinks it might be a Faller kit, but I do know it was in Pola. I'm not sure about
the only thing that I was disappointed with, if you notice on the box, there are several decals that they have on there.
Yes.
They did not come with the box. They did not come in the package. And I was a little disappointed in that, but
that building would be great for the N scale trains as the track would fit through the back. Yes, that's what I'm wondering, if the train should come through the back side or the front side. I kind of wish I had a spot where you could see all sides of it, because people aren't going to get to see the tank from... Oh, I didn't know this. Look at this.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's pretty awesome.
There you go. You have an original. And I like that they left enough space in the bottom and on the second floor so that if you wanted to put wires in there and light it up, you could.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that as well. I really like that. I'm thinking that the sign probably needs lights on it. If I put a...
Oh, yeah.
Put little overhanging lights on that, and then maybe like a dimmer light up in the top. Yeah.
I did like building and painting that staircase. That was fun also.
Jim says it's worth money now because you autographed it.
There you go.
Yeah, this staircase back here is pretty cool. And the way you've rusted it as well looks good. How'd you do that? Was it like splatter?
A sponge, actually.
Sponge.
Just put a small dab of paint on a sponge and then just sparingly just dab around it.
People are trying to get mini prints to print me some toothpicks, and Andy Ambrose thinks I should just make all the toothpicks from hair. But you got a lot of nice comments on this. No decals. You mean you had nothing to lick and stick? Jason's the lick and stick man.
Jason's the lick and stick.
So we don't want to confuse Rick with. Do you see Split Rock's comment here?
Why is the propane tank covered in Jello? Actually, it does look quite red on camera, but I think Heath, to you, is it more orange?
The cap looks red, but the tank definitely looks orangish.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed too, you have rusty streaks coming down off of where the stairs are.
Yep. The hardest thing to put together on that was definitely putting together the roof. The roof is in 3 separate sections. The back side, the long side is one piece, and then the 2 sides in front had to be glued together. But you couldn't glue that together until you put the tower in. And you couldn't put the tower in until you had the roof glued on because they all needed to correspond in a certain place.
Right. Yep.
It was
See-
it was a very
So you need to do everything at once, is what you're saying.
yeah, pretty much.
Dennis wants to know how many more structures I need. I don't know. I need to figure out how many industries first. I need at least 2 more industries over here. And let's see, like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 industries over here. So maybe not, I mean, as far as industries where things are going to ship, I don't need that many, actually. It doesn't look like. I need some more like background flats. I need some sort of general scenery stuff. There's going to be a park on the peninsula. There's going to be some like train shed shack things, but all right. So Roy Eltham said toothpicks in a 40-foot boxcar, approximately 260,919,168.
Wow.
I think he made that number up. Prove
Thank
me
you, John.
wrong. Prove me wrong. Well, Rick, thank you so much.
Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. Happy to do
Roy,
it.
Roy says he did actual math. You'll
I
have to
believe him.
explain what math is to us one of these days.
Math
So
comes with
nobody in
instruction.
chat has sort of spoiled the 246 yet, which means I can't figure out if it's that people don't know the answer and haven't responded, or people that know the answer just are. Roy actually did the
I know
math.
the
Look at this.
answer.
So if people want to see my latest track plan, you can actually go here. Let's see. If you go to, can I share here? Oh, I have to drop you down to do this, but people in the chat or people in the audience, hang out a second. I'll show you my track plan in a moment. But I do want to thank Rick so much for joining me. First time back having a guest on the stream, dealing with all that insanity.
You did
but-
great.
Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. This is fantastic. If people want to reach out to you to have you build structures for them, how should people get in
Sure.
contact with you?
My email address is on my about page, and what a lot of people don't realize is you can't see the email address from your phone from the YouTube app. So you've got to look at it from a PC, or at least from the web, from your web browser on your phone. But my email address is there. For anyone who doesn't know, it's rick@fbmrr.com. That's really simple. Yeah, let me know. If anyone's interested, I'd be happy to put my skills to some use, because nothing's happening over here.
Well, Rick, we posted the link to your channel up in, what's that called? In the chat. We'll be back together on a stream on Ray Boble's channel in 2.5 weeks for the Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about my layout. I'll show people where they can find the layout information. And thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here.
One last thing, if you guys haven't done so already, there's a link on Jason's page, on Jason's YouTube page, and a link on my community page. This year, the holiday car, you got to take that quiz again. So we want to see how much you guys know about us. Find that link. If I can, I'll post it up here in a few minutes. But yeah, take the quiz. We want to see how many people can who know us well, and you get a chance to win the holiday car. So find that quiz and put your answers down.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick.
All right, bud. I'll see you. Thanks again for having me up.
I am so glad. We've been talking about this for a while, so it is really great that this finally came in. But let me just answer Dennis's question really quickly, and then we'll get out of here for a little bit. So if you go to my website is humancity.org, and you click on the NMRA Achievement Program page. If people don't know, I am going for Model Railroader Engineer Electrical. I've been collecting all of the information here. Split Rock's asking where the STS quiz is, and of course, I will not be able to find that link fast enough to post it, but if anyone's still here, they could find the link on either Jason's page or Rick's community page. It'd be great. Any mods that can post that up. But go to the NMRA Achievement Program page, and as you scroll down, you can kind of see a little bit about my layout. And I'm going to answer Andy Ambrose's question in a second if he is still there. But when you scroll down and you get to, let me just make this bigger. When you get down to, there's just some more pictures loading. There's my circuit breakers right here. Current layout. This is pretty much what it looks like right now. You can kind of take a look at it. Designed for 3 operators, 2 local, 1 remote. This is sort of my 3 industry area. The toothpick factory, the plan is to go up in this corner, up here. And then I need some industries over on this side, and obviously the car float will be an industry of itself. So Andy Ambrose was asking earlier, he said, why the DC transformer for the reverse loop? The reason being, I don't have a reverse loop or any sort of way to reverse a locomotive. And one of the requirements for the NMRA electrical is to show that you know how to wire up a reverse loop. So the reason I'm using a DC transformer is because I'm gonna sit this on the floor. So it was just easier for me to just use a DC transformer and sit all of this on the floor. My plan is I'll send the train off on the orange section of the track. The orange section of the track will be the one that switches polarity. So once it leaves the orange section of the track and it's on the green track, it'll continue around. I'll switch the polarity on the orange section. So when it comes back out, the orange section will be, you know, going in the opposite direction. So that's why there's a DC transformer, is because I'm just going to set this up on the ground and I am going to use that so I can comply with all of the needs of the NMRA electrical and get my first AP certificate. So that's the game. I'm going to head off of YouTube, but I am going to head over to Discord. We've been hanging out on Discord in the voice channel over there for a little bit. So I'm going to jump in there, hang out, just chat with some people as I clean up and get stuff ready and do all that whatnot. So if you're up for chatting a little bit, come join us in the Discord. But thank you all so much for being here. Hope you found the ops stuff interesting. Hope you liked the quality toothpicks from Mr. Bailey. And with that, farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.